Hi, my name is Luminessa Injara, and I'm so thrilled that you're here today with me. And today I'm offering you a little introduction to a new series of classes that I'll be offering on my YouTube channel entitled Ascension 101, Developing Your Inner Sensitivity. Now, some of you may not know who I am, so I'll share with you just a little bit about my background. I've had well over 40 years of experience and training in a very vast array of different spiritual techniques as well as traditions. But my core traditions are working with what I call mystical metaphysics. I have worked with different lineages, and the lineage that I'm most affiliated with is a lineage of Kriya Yoga, which was created and founded through a Maha avatar named Babaji. This Babaji lived several thousand years ago, and he brought through the Kriya Yoga tradition, which eventually was passed on to Paramahansa Yogananda. And some of you may know of his great book called The Autobiography of a Yogi. That was my first book that I read that awoke me to my own spiritual self. And it was through that book that I connected in a much deeper way with Babaji. I didn't know who he was at the time, but as I read the book, I felt something was compelling me to find out more about Self-Realization Fellowship or Paramahansa Yogananda's foundation, and through that, Babaji. So this tradition is based in immortality, the Ascension teachings, and the true understanding of our true selves as a divine human being. So my training encompassed me becoming an ordained minister through this organization that I studied with for well over 13 years. I became what they call a prayer therapist, which is using prayer as an action, as an active prayer. So it's done through the power of our decree and a way in which we create through our words and through our thoughts. And it's based in the tradition called New Thought Metaphysics, which is based in originality with what they called the Transcendentalist movement way back in I guess it was the early 20th century, maybe it was even the 1900s, but it was when Ralph Waldo Emerson, actually in the 1800s when he was alive, and then later Ernest Holmes, who developed science of mind. And there are many churches today that still teach these teachings. I studied these. I became what they call the prayer therapist, a minister. I was a leader and a teacher of my organization, and I did so for well over 13 years. When I left the organization, I began my own depth level inner research, you could say, and inner work on my own self-growth, my own issues, my own wounds. And I spent a lifetime, and still do, clearing past karmic patterns, worked on my mother and my father. I did all of the work that I felt guided to do and felt that it was part of why I came here was to clear this. This was my passion to really practice and dedicate myself to my spiritual awakening. And part of that awakening is to heal the shadow, is to go deep into those parts of ourselves that we're often afraid to go into. But I have cleared for well over, like I said, 40 years, so much of my old beliefs and patterns. And I've become a person that is so much more than I ever thought I could be. I've become more alive, more radiant, more loving, more compassionate, more conscious, so that I can be much more available as a teacher, as an inspiration for other people as well. So that is a little bit about me, and I know that you'll learn more about me as we move forward in our classes as well. I'm teaching these classes and I'm offering them to you as a gift because I feel that right now it is crucial for every single one of us to really wake up to why we're here. If you're here at this time in this crossroads where we're moving in from one old age, an old paradigm, into a new age, a golden age that we all are creating together, if you choose, then you're here for a reason. You chose to be here as a soul. And if you did, then it's your time to wake up to this truth and to wake up to the great, vast responsibility of what this means, as well as the great joy, the great love, and the great challenges that this also brings to each of us. We have choices to make at this time. As an individual and as a collective, we have a choice. We have choices to make. Now, each one of us, when we choose something in our own life, when we think something or say something, it impacts the whole. It impacts the collective field of all of humanity. So that's why it's important for us to clean our acts up. And in this class, or in this series of classes, you're going to learn the basic fundamentals of what I would call mystical metaphysics. And what that includes, and I'll just give you a little idea, and I'm going to read a little bit from my outline here, is you're going to learn a little bit about what, first of all, I'm going to share more about what is Ascension, who are the Ascended Masters, and what does this all mean. We'll go into a little bit in the first class more about what the Golden Age is, what the promise of that is, and where did these prophecies come from. We'll talk a little bit more about what's happening now on the planet in terms of these, what we call our timelines, and the timelines that are bifurcating. There are two major ones that will be bifurcating very soon. We'll talk about some of what we call the solar flash, and you may have heard that term before, and what is that all about, and what does that mean? So I want to disseminate a little bit more some of these aspects, or some of the criteria of where Ascension came from and its evolution, and where Ascension today is different from maybe the Ascension that was 100 years ago. So that's some of what we'll learn about in our first class. We will also learn as we go along about the quantum field and the quantum world in which we're now moving into, and how we live in that world, and why it's so much easier now for us to be able to create through our thoughts and the power of our words. We'll learn the power of our words and decrees and how it affects us in everyday life. You'll learn how to meditate if you don't already know how. It'll be another very simple technique that you will learn that will allow you to go very deep and to become more still within yourself over time. I will also support you in assisting with connecting to what I would call your I am presence, and there are many aspects to that presence, your Christ teachers or guides, and learning how to do this in a very conscious way where you feel safe, you know who's in or what and what you're saying. You'll understand the vibrational difference by inner sensing it. I'll give you tools to learn how to develop that inner sensing ability for yourself, to increase your intuition, to be able to open yourself up more in your pineal gland and be able to access more information that way and mystical experiences. So we'll cover some basic foundational techniques that have served me for an entire lifetime. To this day, I connect with my higher self every day, and I always speak and talk to my own divine self as if they're in the room with me, because they are in the room with me. We'll learn more about understanding the world from the big picture, not just from the small scope of what we see in our eyes. Different perceptions, how we perceive life is how we proceed in life. We'll learn more about how we can choose our perception and change our perception as we move along. We'll learn how to open our doorways so that we can change our physical reality, our mental reality, our emotional reality. These are all things that are available to us right now by just taking the time to sit still and to learn and to open and to receive. There is a wealth of information, a wealth of guidance. We are always present to the one within ourselves and the one throughout the universe. We are never alone, not truly. We may be alone in a physical space, but we're never truly alone in the universe. This is something I know for a fact. We'll learn about the multidimensionality of who we are and the ways in which we can connect with different aspects of our soul self, of what we call our monad, our family, our soul family. So there'll be many different ways in which I will share with you information, I will share with you techniques, and help you to consciously learn how to be a channel of your own truth in a very safe way that you can trust and know exactly what you're doing with total self-authority. These are things that I will share with you that I have been practicing for over 40 years and that are second nature to me at this time. And as we move along in these classes, I am going to support you as best I can. I will provide you with possible assignments or things you can do on your own. And they'll all be done at your own pace since this is done through a video. I may be also offering these on my website, which is newfemininerising.com. But to start with, they will be definitely on the YouTube channel, which is actually the youtube.com at newfemininerising.com. New Feminine Rising. So it's youtube.com, then / New Feminine Rising. That's the name of the YouTube channel. So in closing, I just want to invite you to come back, subscribe, go to my channel if you would, and even subscribe because I will be hopefully be sending out announcements to those who subscribe. You know, if you turn into your YouTube and you have your subscriptions, usually the latest video will be posted, even if it's a short video. I'll be doing my best to record these classes in the next week or two, at least getting the first 1, 2, or 3 up for you. So I hope that you will take part and come and enjoy them, learn from them. And I will also have a way for you to communicate with me if you need and you have questions, because I'm sure you will along the way. I'm really doing this for my divine service as a gift to you because I just feel called to offer those who are ready to step into a new vibration of themselves, to let go of the old self, the old way of being, the old way of perceiving, and to step into a new vibration of who you truly are so that you can feel empowered, strong, stable within your own identity right now as a divine human that you are becoming every single moment. And with that, I will say good night to you. If it's night for me, but whatever time of day, many blessings, and I hope that you will come to my class as soon as you're able to. Take care and thank you.